Welcome back, folks, to my channel on F1 Gaming, and this is going to be our 7th episode. As you can see from the title, it is Horrendous Mistake that we have made. But before anything, like, subscribe, share to my channel, Amstermadathil, and I am your host, Amstermadathil. So let's get started with some gaming content on F1 MyTeamCareermode. Please look previous videos for the continuation of this game. So now it is going to be our Spanish Grand Prix. Let's move into our Spanish Grand Prix, what is going to be happening, and let's know what all are the stuff that we are planning to do. By the end of this race, you will be seeing that I am totally devastated because of what you saw in the title itself, Horrendous Mistake. So before anything, let's get started with our qualifying laps. Our qualifying laps were interesting but not up to the mark of what we are being expected of, what according to my level, you can say. So our first Q1 goes pretty well. Let's see how that goes. And I need to tell you that we are having an F1 news section at the end of every episode, so have a look at for the current updates on F1 world. So for the qualifying and for the race, I will be going with a balanced car setup because since Spain is really technical circuit. It has these low speed corners, high speed corners, medium speed corners, and especially that last bend, which is horrendous for me, as you can see through the game. So here it is, my first lap. And with that perfect lap from that Q1, we are going into Q2 as in ninth position. So I had all my hopes up for getting into top 10 because one of our sponsors objective is to get into top 10. But unfortunately, you can see from this first lap that we did not do a pretty good job about it. You'll see what happens. It's because that first turn, let's see how it goes. The first turn is what I'm going to say. The first turn and then the second turn. The first turn comes with a good version, but the second turn I did a very horrendous one.
Okay, you have wing damage. This will be a major performance impact unless you box for a new one.
So the reason for that mistake was I took the second curb and that is really bad to take because you can turn the vehicle too fast. I will show you in this. After this first turn, you have the curbs coming in inside, and you should not take it fully. And once you take it fully, your tires are on the other side, and that's it. Your complete qualifying is gone. It's just to find the limits, but that limit was not the correct limit, so we had to go for a second run. But this unfortunately also is not a satisfying one, because now you will see in turn 9 what happens, and that lets us down a lot in our time. It's half a second or so. We stop or we brake really late, and we lose all the momentum that we had from that first lap. So then we had the second run again, and we were gaining some positions, but these 3 turns was utterly nonsense from my side, that we lost all the time that we gained. So we are unfortunately back down at P16, and it's not looking good. So let's see, we salvage something in the race, but you know that we don't salvage any point in the race. So let's get to the race.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat this weekend. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Let me ask you about the new Racing Point driver. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel and Albon, Ricciardo, Perez, Sainz and Lance Stroll, Norris, Ocon, Daniel Kvyat and Gasly, Raikkonen, Joker, Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean, Hubert, Giovinazzi, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So with Jeff giving us a good pep talk, we are going to have our race being started, and I need to say the race start was superb. We got a stunning start of the race, and we just blasted about from 16 to P9 by the first turn. Actually P8 we pushed off Stroll Perez, who soon in this video you will see that there is a interesting, actually happy news for him. Then Danny Ricciardo, we pushed him off. Honey Badger gets his own medicine of what you can say, dive bomb, and we pushed him off, and then it was that the race was literally over for us, because now Albon just kept making gap between us, and Ricardo was keeping us honest. really honest. So we were pushing really hard, and that caused us. Yes, that's what we caused a lot. And at the first lap, pretty okay. Actually, pretty damn good because हम लोग from P16 to P7, 9 positions. Just imagine that outer section that we took was absolutely great. So that was going really good, and we had nothing much to go about from here on because Albon was just even though he was in mediums, he was still increasing his pace and catching up with the top 5. So yeah, now we will jump into our pit stop section. So over here you can see that Leclerc and Albon is in mediums. They started off, I guess, nice. So Leclerc and Albon qualified in mediums. Wow, that's a great thing they have done for a faster pace at the end. Let's see how that goes. But see, you can see that we are 4 seconds or 4 seconds behind them, and actually it is Norris behind us. Interesting. What happened to Ricardo? I don't know. Now we are coming in for our pits. We are going from softs to mediums. It's a one-stop strategy at Catalonia Barcelona circuit. So let's see how our pit stop goes, and after this I don't know what happened to my game. Maybe I switched off, but it was great, and we had a great in lap also, but somehow Ricardo just overtook us because our in lap was green sectors, and Ricardo was behind us, and he capitalized on his out lap with new high medium tires and got a good overcut on us. So our tires are cold, so I am not able to suss out the complete performance out of. There you go. I just lost my back end with the cold tires, and no, science is looking really behind us. So we have to be extra careful and make sure that we get our tires up to temperature before this lap ends. But yeah, you're going to see the horrendous expected of the. Yeah, I don't know, man, what happened over here, but you will see. You are going to see now.
That was a heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
And so guys, that is it. That is the end of our race of Spanish Grand Prix for this season. Let's move into our final standings.
They've done it then. A spectacular victory here in Spain and a massive confidence boost going into the next race. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Let's have a quick look at how the driver's standings have changed. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today. All respect to the fans' choice, they fully deserve it. But I just feel that my pick had a little more on their plate, so their ability to keep a cool head and come through for such a strong finish made the difference, at least in my opinion.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So guys, that is the end of the race. This is going to be our moves that we did till the turn 6 to move from P16 to P7, but yeah, I was gutted with that stupid move that I did, because in the second turn I shouldn't have accelerated a bit earlier. So since I accelerated a bit earlier, we went into the gravel, tried to catch it back, but since it was in gravel, we were not able to get anything out of it. And yeah, science came in, and that was it for our race, man. Well done, Lewis, you have won the race, and now you can see what happened with that race. Heartbreak it is. It's a real big heartbreak. There you go. Over here I increased the speed and I went out to the gravel, and there you go. Yeah. So as you know, this is going to be a learning season for us to improve on our skills and get better by each race. So it's something that we need to look into, but we are not able to complete our objectives for our sponsors, and that is it. We have a renewal of our sponsor coming up soon, and yeah, this is the end of this Spanish Grand Prix. Now moving into F1 news, we have stunning news coming from the F1 world that F2 champion is Mick Schumacher, who's going to be new Haas driver, and we have our first Indian who has won F2 race, and we have our first maiden win for Sergio Perez. So tough luck for Verstappen and Leclerc being on the bad side. We have this as our Bahrain Grand Prix end, and guys, it's a wonderful weekend with youngsters coming in and playing in the parts that they need to do in F1. So see you soon for the next episode for Monaco Grand Prix, and see you Shabakir from Amsterdam. Bye.